What is up, guys? It's your host Royalistic here with a brand spanking new video. Today we got a guest and we're going to be talking about the NVIDIA Titan X, our thoughts on it, overview, and what we just think about it. So yeah, let's get right into it. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Charles.
So, the Titan X, the new one, what do you think about it?
Well, something tells me that NVIDIA really don't know how to name their products correctly. Because there's already another NVIDIA Titan X.
Yeah, but they say the difference is that one is called the GeForce Titan X, whereas this one is just the Titan X.
If it's that way, then why does this new Titan X, which I'm going to refer to as the Titan XP, P for Pascal, since this new one is featuring the Pascal P102 GPU. Mm-hmm. And see, the thing is that on the Titan XP, on the top of it, it says GeForce GTX, just like my 1080. So therefore, NVIDIA themselves claim that it's part of the GeForce family.
Wow, it's just confusing for the new consumers out there. You know, those newbies, they might even buy an old one thinking it's cheaper and the same thing. It's probably just
Definitely not. I mean, this new Titan XP is almost twice the performance of the original Titan X.
Oh yeah, I've seen the benchmarks. We should talk about the benchmarks too later on in this video.
Let's first start out with specs. So, it has so as I said before, it's based on the GP104 GPU. It has 12 billion transistors.
No, I believe it's 102 GPU.
GP102.
Yeah, GP102.
So yeah, the GP102 GPU features 12 billion transistors. It features 3,584 CUDA cores, which are clocked based at 1.41 gigahertz, boost 1.53 gigahertz. It says here that it also features 11 teraflops of FP32 performance, and it also features 44 TOPS of the new integer 8 calculation, which isn't really useful for gaming, but it's useful for stuff like deep learning.
So, basically, it's very good. To sum it out for you guys, it's basically just a very good card.
Also, I forgot to add that it's also 12 gigabytes of GDDR5X.
Yeah, no HBM2 here, guys. No HBM2.
Yeah, I mean, really, HBM2 isn't... I mean, HBM and HBM2 really don't give you that much of a boost in terms of gaming performance. I mean, we've compared the benchmarks of the Fury X and existing NVIDIA counterparts, and the FPS, there is really no difference for having a faster memory bandwidth.
Yeah, because what's the memory bandwidth on this thing? I believe it's...
it's 480 gigabytes per second, only a slim shy from 512 gigabytes of the first generation HBM.
Right. I thought it was 511, something like that though. You're right. 511, 12 gigabytes. Anyways, compared to the 1080, you want to talk about that right now?
Sure. So, compared to the 1080, let's see here. According to the benchmarks in Unity Heaven at 4K, the GTX 1080 scores 35 FPS, while the new Titan XP has 52, a pretty significant jump over the GTX 1080, making this now the most powerful single GPU as of this recording.
Which is August 6th or 5th, something like that. Yeah.
August 5th, 2016.
Yes.
Now let's have a look at some actual game benchmarks.
Okay, guys, I'm going to be putting up an image right now, which is going to show you guys the game benchmarks for 1080p. Right now, we're going to talk about 1080p. Then we'll go on with the 1440p and then 2160, which is 4K, guys. So for 1080p, from the benchmarks we've seen, they've tested a bunch of DX12 games right now, like Ashes of the Singularity, Forza, Apex, Gears of War, etc. Anyways, in these games, as you guys can see in the image, the Titan X, of course, performs better in every single game. In a couple games by about maybe 0 frames, like seen in the Forza Apex, or maybe like 5 frames. But then you go to Fallout 4, guys, and you see that it's a whopping jump of almost 100 more frames. Well, more like 80-ish frames, but that, I don't know. What do you think is the reason behind that?
Well, I mean, Fallout 4 is a very game for. I mean, it's very well optimized for NVIDIA cards. Not saying that it also doesn't run great on AMD cards as well.
Yeah, it's just looking at all these games and then Fallout 4 with like almost 250 frames and 300 frames on the Titan X. But of course, if you're buying a Titan X or a 1080, you're probably not buying it to play a 1080p resolution.
1080p, you probably were best off at 1060.
A 1060, yeah, I'd say 1060 is like the best card right now for 1080p gaming.
If you want to go for AMD, it's RX 480.
Yes, RX 480 also. Yeah, if you want to save $50, RX 480 is pretty good. Honestly, what I've seen though, we might be going a little bit off topic here, but the RX 480 was marketed to be, or advertised to be $200. But the problem was with all these aftermarket, third-party manufacturers, they're all charging about $250 for it. So in the end,
no, they're actually still charging for $200. What happened is that people who buy them, they're called resellers. They increase the price significantly.
Are you sure about that one?
Yeah.
Because I thought MSI charged for their like twin Frozer technology and stuff, so they add money and stuff to the base
there is
clock.
indeed a slight buff, like probably only by 10 or 20 bucks. But you see, what happens is that resellers buy it from bulk, directly from those graphics card manufacturers at retail price. And then since there's such a massive shortage of them, every time when the resellers get a new shipment of their GPUs, they price it higher.
I see.
Yeah, it's the same issue with the new GTX 1080s as well.
Yeah, I was reading about that on Hardware Canucks' website, about the RX 470, which came out yesterday, I believe. Yes, RX 470 came out. I believe in the rumors it was supposed to be $150. I reported about that in my Tech News Update #1, guys. So you should check out my Tech News Update channel if you guys want to stay up to date on any tech news. You know, not just gaming, it's just mobile, anything, okay? Anyways, I'm getting off topic. So my Tech News Update #1, I talked about how the RX 470 is rumored to be $150. So like the RX 460 would be $99, and then $150 for the 470, and then $200 for the 480, aka AMD trying to capture this budget gamer audience, which is like 70% of the gamers, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, I think it's actually more. It's probably like 80 something.
80%, exactly. So, but turns out the RX 480 is $180 instead of $150. Now, I was a little bit disappointed by this, but seeing from the performance, I guess it's worth it. It's still way better than like a year ago when you had to buy a GTX 950 at that same price, or a 9. No, I don't even think 960s went for that much. I believe seeing a 960 on Black Friday for like $170. But that's about it, yeah. So a 950, and it's 470 is way better than a 950. So right now, it's a good time to be a PC gamer with all these Pascal and Polaris cards coming out. It's good. It's fun. It's nice.
Yeah. So back to the Titan XP. So I mean, clearly, if anyone who buys this graphics card, they're clearly going to have a very high resolution monitor, like probably at 1440p or 4K. At 1440p, the game still scores easily over 60 FPS with only actually Singularity at DirectX 12 at 57.
Okay, so I'm going to put an image up right now, guys. Sorry to cut you off there. To show you guys, so look at the image and base that off what we're talking about. So, yeah. So The Witcher 3 at 1440p looks like on the 1080 it goes about 70 frames. But on the Titan X it's almost 100 frames, so it's 100% playable. It's much better than playable, more like smooth, butter smooth. Well, honestly, butter smooth would be like 140 frames. FPS. What?
You get that glorious 60 FPS.
Yeah, you get the 60, but there's some of those glorious people who want 144. Well, that's not going to be achievable in many games for 4K, but we'll move on to that later. Right now, 1440p. Looks like all the games are able to be played above 60 frames per second, except for Ashes of the Singularity on the 1080. But the Titan X manages to run everything gloriously. I know I'm using that word a lot, but that's just...
Yeah, it pretty much dominates at 1440p.
So this Titan X is really good. But did we mention that it also... You guys, if you're watching this, you probably already know, but it's $1,200 now instead of $1,000. So...
Yeah, that price tag.
So Pascal looks like they're just going to increase prices on everything. 1060.
Yeah, I mean, like, new... 1080 is supposed to be like to replace the 1080, but it really more of a replacement for the 980 Ti due to its price point.
Yeah, same with the not really for the 960. 960 only had a $50 improvement, but it still starts off at 250. So you know third-party manufacturers are going to sell it for like 280, 270, you know.
Yeah, if you want those extra, like, better cooling fans and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways,
so at 4K.
Anyways, moving on to 4K, guys. At 4K, you see a different spectrum. So at 1080p, all the frames are only like, for most games, they're about 5 to 10 frames more for the Titan X. However, at 4K, that situation is much different, guys. In games like Gears of War, you see the Titan X pulling out 22 more frames than the 1080. Same with Doom on Vulkan, running on Vulkan API. You get about 40-ish frames more on the Titan X. Batman Arkham Knight, we all know about that disaster of a game. You get about 30 more frames on that. So I think the Titan X is really built for 4K. It performs even way better than the 1080.
I mean, that at 4K, it's pretty much where its territory belongs.
Yeah, so it's really doing what it's supposed to. Sadly, for the games like some games like GTA 5, you still can't get that glorious 60 frames on the Titan X even. But you know, there's always going to be games like that.
I mean, first of all, at 4K, anti-aliasing starts to like basically disappear. You don't need very fancy like 4x MSAA. I mean, personally, I have a 4K monitor and I only play at it with like FXAA on. That's pretty much all you need. The pixels are just so tiny.
Yeah, that's basically it. Oh, by the way, FYI, guys, sorry I didn't mention this earlier, but these benchmarks are from the cards both being overclocked. Here are what they were overclocked to. So there was an EVGA GTX 1080 overclocked at 2.05 gigahertz, and the Titan X, the NVIDIA GTX Titan X, Pascal, so XP basically, was overclocked to 1.95 gigahertz. So that was basically, it wasn't a stock clock, you know, benchmarks. I mean,
if you're buying high-end hardware, of course you're going to overclock it.
Yeah, but yeah, that's basically it. Imagine running this thing in SLI, dude.
Yeah, the only problem is you can only have 2 of them in SLI now. 3-way, 4-way, that's just not a thing anymore.
It's not like the 1060 at least, where you can't have SLI at all, man.
Yeah, kind of sad. Then again, if you really think about it, like, when I first built my computer, I had planned to get a second graphics card. Like, so therefore I got an SLI compatible motherboard, and I have a power supply that can feed to graphics card. But in reality, nah, I never actually got a second graphics card.
Yeah. Yeah, anything else do you think we should discuss in this podcast?
No, I think we're good here.
So, hope you guys enjoyed this little thing. We just talked about the Titan X, what we think about it. Really good card, of course. If you have $1,200 to spend and you wouldn't mind spending $1,200, I highly recommend it. Okay, unless you already have a 1080, where I don't think it's worth spending $1,200 more dollars. But I recommend it. Sadly, we don't have the money for it. Oh, actually, my friend here has a 1080, but I don't have the money for it to buy a Titan X. So I'm just going to have to rely on these benchmarks and stuff to get it and watch reviews of other people to like see how awesome it is. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this little podcast sort of thing with some gameplay in the background, you know. If you did so, be sure to leave a like, subscribe. Our subscriber goal by the end of this week is 3 subscribers, guys. 3 whopping subscribers. Hopefully we can get there. And yeah, see you guys next time. I'm your host, Royalistic, signing out.